Hello and welcome back to our podcast, Wasted. I'm not going to introduce myself because I've already done that 1,000 times and you already know who I am. I'm obviously not joined by our amazing Yaz. Who are we joined by today?
I'm Lee, a long-time listener, but first-time guest.
Yaz is on a secret mission and she won't be here for a little while, but she will be back. So, you know, stay tuned. She will see her beautiful face again. What are we talking about today?
Well, according to Yaz's notes that she's left me here, we're talking about iPhone 17 rumours.
I am obviously a firm iPhone user and surprisingly, Lee is a firm Android user. Just quickly, how do you find using Android?
The best. No, I've always had Android since the beginning. But my work phone is an iPhone, so I know a bit about iPhones.
So you've never actually owned an iPhone?
Not personally.
What about an iPad?
I have had an iPad and I've had a couple of Macs. And my work laptop's a Mac. So I'm not against Apple stuff, but I just prefer Android phones.
Okay, we might change our mind with the new iPhone 17. What do you think?
Possible, but unlikely.
So let's talk about it. So we're 3 months away from the new iPhone 17 being launched. And now is like very popular on the internet for leaks and rumours about the new phone, what it's going to look like, what different features or the same features that it's going to have. So today we're going to be looking at the new mock-ups of what the actual iPhone is going to look like. You excited?
I can barely contain my excitement.
I know, I can tell. You can tell by your voice.
I've not seen any of the rumours yet, but I watch the iPhone launches every year, so I'm pretty comfortable with what they're going to say and what it's going to be. It's always the fastest iPhone ever, the best camera on an iPhone ever, the best screen on an iPhone ever. So I'm pretty certain it's going to be an iPhone, but the best everything in an iPhone ever.
So you don't think it's going to be the best iPhone ever, or you do think it's going to be the best iPhone ever?
I think it will be slightly better than the last one, but it's basically the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I was really looking forward to it being like a flip. I actually do have high hopes that one day Apple will release a iPhone flip.
I think they will, but I think they'll hold off until they got no other ideas, won't they? And I think they're already a little bit short on no ideas.
And I think we'll get into price and everything right at the end, but I think
it'll be $2,000 minimum when it for a flip.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, we'll soon find out. The first thing that it took my attention. This one has 120 hertz refresh rate. To me, couldn't care less. Like, I actually couldn't care less. But the other day in the office, my manager was comparing, because on an Android you can choose your refresh rate. And obviously with an iPhone, it's like 60, like just standard 60.
I feel because they call it ProMotion, don't they? I think you might actually be able to turn ProMotion on and off. But the Pros, I think, have been 120 for a couple of years, haven't they? So it's the standard ones getting 120.
I didn't understand, like, to me, like, if I'm clicking on things and they're like clicking it as soon as I'm tapping it, then I'm fine with that. But then actually seeing the difference that my manager showed me, because she turned it like normal and then to like a good refresh rate, I was like, God, you can actually see the difference.
I think 60 is not awful, is it? But when you get used to 120, 60 looks a little bit choppy.
Yeah.
The big one, I don't know if iPhone does it. I think they do because the Apple Watches do it. But one of the big reasons it's really good is because they have like variable refresh rate. So if nothing's really happening on the screen, it will turn down the refresh rate, so it saves battery. Oh. So it will go all the way up to 120, but it'll also go all the way down to like, I think it even goes down to 1 on a watch. I don't know if it does on the phones. But so actually it's refreshing less sometimes, and that saves your battery.
I don't really take notice in like the things that happen that I'm not aware of. So these like refresh rates, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's quite a good feature.
I think it's one of them where you might not care about it, but if you had the old one and the new one and you start using it, you'd be like, I feel smoother. And you might not realise why. So
they're also upping the memory to 12 gigabytes of RAM across the board. So, which is great if you're an app hoarder.
Yeah, I think iPhones are really good with it, aren't they? In terms of you don't really notice because they silently take things out of memory and stuff. But like the more the better, really, isn't it?
Again, something that I probably wouldn't notice.
I mean, again, I always get the upgraded one with extra RAM, but do I notice a difference? Probably not. I mean, I don't really do anything on my phone to notice it.
Another thing, we spoke about it before and we have blogs about it. Batteries. We know how powerful a battery can be and how harmful to the environment a battery can be if you let it get wasted. But the new iPhone 17 is rumoured to have a silicone anode battery. Is that what I said? Did I say that right? Yeah. So it can this means it could store up to 15% more energy in the same space.
A lot of the new battery tech is about having the same physical size but more capacity in there. I think Samsung have got something on the horizon, but I think that sometimes Android do things a bit too soon and they're not as polished.
Yeah.
And then Apple wait. So it goes both ways. But if I've had an iPhone, I'd be quite annoyed sometimes when the new features are out on the Samsungs and you're waiting for it to happen and you know it's probably 2 years away.
Yeah, exactly that. I guess just get to the important part really is what it looks like. The iPhones has 4 models. So obviously the basic ones, the Pros, but they also have a iPhone 17 Air, which is supposed to be thinner. I want to have a look at that ASAP. So I have it here and you have it on your pad as well. You're trying to look at mine. Right, you ready to see it? Oh, it's not loading.
72 hours later.
Okay, so this is, again, rumoured. So it's thin and it weighs about 150 grams and has a slim battery to match. I'll be honest with you, it's giving like iPhone 5C.
Sorry to bring up Android again, but obviously Samsung have just done the Galaxy S25 Edge and it's a bit like that, isn't it? Where it's like, it sort of looks the same, but it's a bit thinner. And I just don't think it really needs to be thinner.
I don't even, like, why?
Well, I think it's there's not a lot of new things they can do, is there? But then it just makes the battery worse. And if you ask most people what they want to change on their phone, they'd probably say they want a better battery. So I feel like it's the opposite of what everyone wants, really.
It's a tiny bit bigger than an iPad Pro.
An iPad Pro?
Yeah, it's a tiny bit bigger than an iPad
Oh,
Pro.
I'm not on that photo.
Oh, sorry. But so
Okay.
the iPhone 16 Pro Max is 8.25 millimeters. Is that a basic phone then? Is that what the size they are? So
I
this
think they're
is
about the same,
8.25.
They're about that, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, that when they come out and say it's the thinnest iPhone ever and it's 0.5 millimeter thinner, are you even going to notice that? Especially when most people put them in cases. I think that's the big thing. People are going to buy that really thin phone and then they're going to put it in a case and it's not going to be thin anyway. So what's the point? They're just going to have crap battery for no reason.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, I need to know why you chose to just make it thinner. Like, why did you, out of everything you could have done, Apple, you just choose to make it thin?
Well, that's the weird thing, and I think they're all doing it. Samsung are doing it as well. Where there's this idea that someone else is going to do a thin one, so we better do one. But then, does anyone actually want a thin one? Because I'm not sure they do.
I don't. And again, like you said with the case, does it really matter if you're going to put a case on it? It's just going to be the same.
I think it's not really necessary to make it any thinner than it already is.
By the way, there's no more SIM trays in the new iPhone 17. So eSIMs only for all iPhones, not just the ones in the US.
I mean, I'm using eSIM, so for me, I'm sort of like, that's okay. But I think some people that might scare a little bit.
You'd be like, what about switching SIMs on when you're on holiday? Like, does
Just
that
have another eSIM, can't you? You can have more than one eSIM in there.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, but I think I feel like older people and stuff maybe will be a little bit terrified when you say, oh, you can't put your SIM in there.
Yeah, you need an eSIM. They won't understand. I don't really know. I'm not sold on this, Apple.
I feel like it's, like you said about the flip one, when they do a flip one, that would be something new. And obviously Samsung already do the flip ones. Some other companies do some flip ones. But iPhone users aren't getting flip ones yet. So when that happens, I think iPhone users will act like it's something new and amazing. And Apple obviously will act like something new and amazing. Yeah, as it is, I just think this is an excuse to sort of do something different. But is there any point to it? It's a bit like when they did the minis. Yeah, we've made a smaller one, but it turns out no one really wanted a smaller one because they want a bigger screen. Obviously on this, the screen's the same size, but the battery's going to be worse. And I think no one wants that.
Allegedly, the rear camera is getting a complete new redesign. Obviously, if you can see it, have you got it up on your little pad? I hate it. That was the first thing I've noticed on this phone, and I absolutely hate it.
I don't think it looks good.
I don't think it looks good.
It's a bit like, because I've never had one, but I think generally the Google Pixel phones are quite good. But the thing I really hate about them is that they have that big camera strip bump on the back, and it's sort of got that look, which for me is a massive downgrade.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I just like the fact that the cameras are in with the phone. Does that make sense? Like, it's not
Yeah, it doesn't feel to me like a tidy design. Because it feels like they've just added that big block instead of trying to make it as sort of compact as it can be. My sort of guess on why they've done that is because if they didn't do that, the iPhone 17 is basically going to look exactly the same as the 15 and 16. So I feel like they're trying to do something visually different to show that it's the new one. Because you know, like it is when they switched to the notch, it was immediately obvious if you didn't have the newer iPhone, and that probably made people want to upgrade. When they switched from the notch to the little pill cutout, it was probably a similar thing where people thought, oh, people are going to notice if I haven't got a new one. Whereas this would look exactly the same as 15, really, other than the camera control button. So I feel like they've done it to make people think, oh, I need to upgrade because it looks different and people will notice I don't have the new one. But
Like,
it definitely
wants
looks
that?
weird.
Like, who?
I don't. I mean, I don't want a phone anyway. But, but
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not switching to an Android. Like, and eventually, when the
but look
iPhone 25 comes out, I will have this.
Look at the cameras on iPhone, Samsung.
So even you love an iPhone. It's in your brain.
Just talking about iPhones has got me.
Do you know what? Look at the cases. Even the cases are ugly.
It feels like it's going to be less protected as well to me.
Also, I've just read in here, the iPhone 17 Pro models will reportedly use a vapor chamber cooling technology for improved thermal performance.
I mean, Samsungs have definitely had that for ages. The Ultras have. If anything, it looks a bit older. Not in a, like sometimes a retro vibe's cool.
Not this time.
No,
they've not pulled it off. Obviously, these are just rumours, so maybe like Apple will shock us and not make it look like that.
Well, normally the cases and stuff are the giveaway, aren't they? Because they have to give out the plans to people who make cases early. So I think whilst some things might not be exactly like that, I think that big camera bump is probably definitely going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, there's other reported features that include aluminium chassis, an A19 chip, Apple's C1 modem, an action button, and a camera control button that the iPhone 16 has, and a 24 megapixel front camera. Now, do you know what? I'm excited about the front camera. I actually don't have the iPhone 16, so I don't know. Well, my boyfriend has the iPhone 16. The front camera is still not that good. I always use the back camera taking videos, and I even like selfie videos, I always use the back camera. Back cameras are always good. I don't know about Android.
Oh, I don't think I even use the front
You
camera.
don't take little selfies?
Maybe 10 years ago. Not anymore.
Yeah, so I'm actually excited for a good quality front camera because that's something you don't get on iPhones. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not something I'm super bothered about because for me, the front camera is more of a functional thing than to take your best photos. But it's definitely. I mean, I'm surprised they've never done anything like the was it the Oppos and stuff where they had a little pop-out camera so that it was like really high quality, or going back to like old ones where like you could flip the back camera to the front.
Yeah.
Or even the problem is with the Galaxy Flip one, because that's got a screen on both sides, so you can take pictures with the good camera and still see because it's got the screen on the other side.
Sick.
But obviously the camera on the Galaxy Flip isn't actually that amazing because it's like compromised by being small and stuff. So, but if they could put like the camera from like the Galaxy S25 Ultra on the Flip, and then you can see that, you'd be able to take top quality photos, wouldn't you, and still see what you're doing.
And there's me with my iPhone 14, like got a mirror in front of me trying to take a photo with the back camera.
I didn't know anyone did that.
Oh, I don't. It's just a joke.
You've got an Apple Watch. You can use that as the thing, can't you?
Oh, yeah, I could. Yeah. But I don't have it on me enough.
Maybe when you're taking photos. Maybe sellotape your Apple Watch to the back of your phone so you can see it when you take pictures.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I need to do.
That's actually a top tip. I don't know why no one's doing that.
Top tip of the day.
This could be the new TikTok trend.
So I feel like now we should get to the most important part and what you're all thinking. How much is this iPhone going to be?
It says here up to £2,700, which is insane.
Do you not think that's ridiculous?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's beyond ridiculous. Like, no one's going to pay that for it, surely.
No. And can you imagine how much it's going to be like people that get it on contract?
Be bigger than your mortgage, wouldn't it?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't pay that. No. I think it plateaued a bit, hadn't it? The Pro Maxes and like the top Samsungs and stuff were like sort of £1,200 maybe, which is still way too much. But I think everyone had got used to that price and accepted it. But I think going higher than that, even I know the larger capacities were more expensive anyway. But I think even if you said £1,500, I think that's way too much, and I feel like people are going to say that's not worth it.
It's not. But obviously there's a reason for this because of the tariffs.
I'm not an expert on the tariffs. But obviously the tariffs shouldn't like really affect us, should they? Because it's America. But I know Sony were doing a thing where they made the PS5 more expensive so that they could sort of subsidise US customers and not put it up so much there. So maybe that's a bit of a factor. But
also with the Trump era of, US-China tech, Apple's trying to avoid a pricing nightmare. So to dodge those extra taxes, Apple's moving the productions to India and Vietnam.
That's going to take years though, isn't it? It's not this
No,
year.
exactly that. So it sounds smart, but it's not exactly an overnight process. So...
Well, and then he'll just put tariffs on India and
Well,
Vietnam.
exactly. And
I mean, he changes
don't
mind every
really-
week, doesn't he?
Well,
So
exactly.
it might be by the time the iPhone 17 comes out, he's cancelled the tariffs anyway and everything will be fine. Although I'm sure Apple will still use that opportunity to put the price up a bit.
But we'd still need those materials from China and South Korea. Like, sure. So I don't really know what his thought process is.
I don't think he has much of a thought process. But yeah, I think it's very short-sighted, isn't it?
So does this mean that because of the trade wars, that's the reason why the iPhone's going to be so expensive?
I mean, quite honestly, I've lost track of what the rules are because he keeps changing them. I think, or at least what I've read, it's going to be affected by tariffs. But with it being a few months away, there's every chance that he changes his mind again. So it may or may not. But I feel like Apple are going to use the current climate as the excuse of putting the price up either way, aren't they?
Yeah, but going from like the iPhone 16 was like £799 to £1,200 for the new iPhone 17 is a joke.
Well, that's the thing, because I feel like a lot of people would say like the Pro Max is too expensive and just get the normal one. And if the normal one's the price of the Pro Max, I feel like a lot of people just say, I'm not paying that for a phone.
No.
So I don't know what will happen. It might absolutely tank this model, but we'll see.
Yeah. So I think the main question is like, is it going to be worth upgrading to the iPhone 17? Or say if like me, you've got the iPhone 14, should I just go and should I wait a couple more months for the iPhone 17, or should I just upgrade to the iPhone 16? I know I'm going to pick the iPhone 16, not just because of price, but because I think it's ugly.
That is a factor. And I've done that before. I've skipped phones because I've hoped that the next one would be nicer again. And I think at least with the Samsungs now, that this year's Samsung is the one I really like the look of. Whereas the S24 Ultra, they'd squared it off and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So it might be like that where they take the feedback and the 18 goes back to the other style, or maybe they come up with a nicer style. But yeah, I think visually it's sort of worse. Obviously, when you're using it, you're not going to look at the camera most of the time, and everything else will be that little bit better. But if the prices are that much higher, I think if I were upgrading from a 14 or maybe not 15 because it's too similar, but if I was upgrading from 14, I'd probably be quite tempted to get a 16 Pro Max now.
Yeah.
And avoid the prices and the horrible look and everything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold because they also said that the iPhone 16 was the best iPhone ever. Like they say this all the time. I'm excited to watch the keynote. That's one thing I'm excited for. And I might just even compare it to the iPhone 16 keynote and let's just see things that they repeat or not.
I mean, I always love the announcement because I like to hear for about 2 hours about how they've upgraded their Apple stores and about how, like, I do like to hear about their protecting the environment, but a lot of it seems a bit made up, and about how it's the fastest iPhone ever, it's the best camera in an iPhone ever, it's the best screen in an iPhone ever, it's the best processor in an iPhone ever, it's the best battery life in an iPhone ever. So it's always fun. I do wonder, will they actually hold it back a little bit if there's still uncertainty over the tariffs and stuff?
Well, maybe.
They did do that during COVID, didn't they, when there was trouble with production? So it's not unprecedented.
We'll have to wait and see. But I'll be excited just to see and hear things when it eventually comes out. But again, I'm still going to probably choose a 16 very soon.
I mean, there's every chance that they come up with some crazy feature.
Yeah.
But based on last year, most of the new stuff's probably going to be Apple Intelligence and everything else, which isn't even out or working or anything else. So maybe it's not too exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just our opinion. And this is based on basic leaks. So we'll see if anything changes in a few months. 'Cause 3 months is a long time. You don't know what could change. It's your first podcast as well. How are you feeling?
I don't think I've lived up to Yaz. But,
No, definitely not.
Yeah, if I do some more, maybe they'll be a little bit better.
Yeah, start a petition to get Yaz back from a secret mission ASAP.
Maybe it's not the best first one for me to talk about iPhones as well. 'Cause I feel like all I've done is moan about iPhones.
We'll see in the next one, eh? So yeah, that's just our opinion. Let us know your opinion in the comments. Like, subscribe, just the usual bits and bobs. And until next time, don't let your old tech get wasted.